Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where I say welcome back, but in a sense, this is kind of a brand new Hearts of Iron, but also very much the same Hearts of Iron. So there's that. I say this because up until now, I have been recording on Windows 10, and Windows 10 went end of life. So as of this video and going forward, all future videos in this series and all other series are now being recorded on Linux. And that may create a little bit of jank here and there. I'm working on ironing out all of the patches. It's not fully complete yet. We're working on it. Particularly the credit sequence. I'm having a hard time getting the exact pacing of that, but we're getting very, very close and we're ready to proceed. So with that being said, we need to take a look at our current position here. Now, our naval position out over this area is awkward, and that's mostly because we just have to wait until these guys finish their repairs. And that's just all there is to it. They're actually pretty close, though, looking at this. Yeah, they're actually quite close to finishing their repairs. So that seems good, and eventually, once they make their way out here, we should be able to make our way through. So that looks good. Now, as far as this attack goes, I don't anticipate that this is going to go anywhere at all anytime soon. So that's noted. I want to check in at our production, and we could definitely be using more steel. There's no doubt about that. Steel is a major lack for us at this moment, and that is absolutely understood. If we can control the Black Sea, though, if we can control the entrance to the Black Sea, that will definitely reduce what Ukraine is able to affect, right? So as of right now, if we look at our resources, we can see that our resources are primarily flowing across the Atlantic and into the Mediterranean like this. It's not ideal. Something like this supply line is almost untouchable for us. I say almost. It's not entirely untouchable. They've got things out over here, they've got things here, but it's close to untouchable for the main bulk of their forces. So that's noted, but this is absolutely not untouchable. If we could control this, that'd be fantastic, but it's never going to happen. We're much more likely to be able to control the Dardanelles and the Bosporus Strait, and hopefully that will happen sooner rather than later. We just need these guys to finish up their repairs, and actually they're about done. I think this is the last ship, right? Close to it. Yeah, they're out. Okay, beautiful. So we're heading on up here, and we can see our naval supremacy right now is actually 92% with that fleet there. So we want these guys to get going as soon as they can. Unfortunately, they're 50 days of preparation away. So the question is, will we still have this naval supremacy in 50 days? Well, we'll see. It entirely depends on whether they want to contest this or not. That's really what it comes down to. If they don't contest it, then we will see if we manage to land here. Remember, our tanks are not amphibious, and this could be kind of spicy. We may want to consider planning a separate naval invasion with this small army that can kind of help out. So that would be attacking just these areas. We can get that prepped. That'll take 26 days, and that's absolutely fine. We'll just tell all of them to make their way in over here. I want to check our current rail situation over here. Oh, yeah, this needs work. Okay, we'll definitely do that, and anti-air out here is fine. Infrastructure is fine. Okay, cool. So we do have some unassigned divisions here. These are infantry divisions, and they are going to get assigned, for now, to our reserve unit. So that seems okay, but we definitely still have a distinct lack of tank units. We're working on it. So this is mostly needing mechanized out over here. That we're definitely working on. We're bringing this up on the number of mechanized, and that should be improving nicely. How's Ukraine doing on their manpower anyway? That's about the same place it was last time we looked. Yeah, somewhere around there. That's fine. Okay. So with that in mind, we're going to be launching this attack down over here eventually, but where's our Navy? Okay, they are still engaged over here. That's noted. So one thing we can do with our Navy is we can start escorting our convoys. That is a potential possibility. As of right now, I don't know how much I'm actually interested in doing that. We could do some of that, I suppose. My question is, where are our convoys actually being intercepted? And I've seen them being intercepted like this, right down here. This is where I've seen it. So if that's the case, then we may want to consider pulling like these guys out to these areas right here, pulling them away from here and putting them on convoy escort duty like this. So hopefully we would be able to get some of these convoys to port and actually start using this steel. That would be a good thing. We would definitely like to have some of that steel coming in. So at this moment, how far away are we on this? Well, we're still about 30 days. Okay, that's noted. Ukraine is using a lot of their manpower to garrison their very, very long borders. That's good for us. That's very good. Now, I don't think there's a scenario where they would conditionally surrender to us, right? They wouldn't accept us conditionally surrendering to them. And what does a conditional surrender even do? They'll receive 3.5% of maximum available conference points. Interesting. So you can't take much, is what that means. Gotcha. That still might be an interesting thing for them to do for us. Not the other way around. Definitely not the other way around. And we do have some supply issues down over here. This is not surprising, given what we're working with here. Not surprising at all. And we're just going to try to launch this sooner rather than later. They can launch basically whenever they're ready, which is going to be in about 2 weeks. How are we doing on the Navy? Good. We're doing well. That's very good to see. 95% naval supremacy. They might be trying to abandon this area a little bit. We are seeing a little bit of convoy interdiction up over here. So that's definitely noted. Where's our fleet that's supposed to be down here? Is that these guys? Yeah, they must be repairing. Okay. Again, our ships are hot garbage. So it's a wonder we're able to do anything at all with them. We weren't anticipating fighting Ukraine this early. I say early, it's 1955, but this is actually early. You have to remember, we have a long ways to go. Like, a really long ways to go. So that's going to be exciting, for sure. We're going to be launching this attack over here shortly, and we will see how this actually goes. It's going to be ready in 1 week. So that's noted. Hang on, what is this? Oh, I don't care. It's fine. So that's all fine for the moment, and we're going to launch this in just 5 days here. 4 days. And yes, I know that the infantry are not currently launching. 3 days? 2 days? Nuclear torpedoes just finished. That's neat. And we don't have any other special projects to work on. Do we have any research to do now that we've finished a couple of special projects? I don't think so. We'll find out. Not at this time. Okay. Yeah, not at this time. That's fine. We'll check again next episode. So we're ready to launch this as of now. Let's go. So all of these units are heading out, and we'll see if we manage to get any landfall here. It'll be very interesting. That's not going so well. Well, maybe right here. That's not a good spot for landfall, for the record. Not a good spot at all. Why are there convoys here? Oh, those are troop convoys. Okay. So we could have put some forces on invasion support. That's definitely a potential option there. But this is going about as poorly as I expected it to, in all honesty. That's about how I expected it to go. How much manpower does Z30 actually have? 200k? That's pretty significant. Okay. I mean, they're not going to let us land here. Even if we land here, this is going to be bad. We probably don't want to land here. I'm not surprised, given what they had laid out here, that this is the way that this ended up going. That's not surprising at all. I'd really like to attack Thrace. Unfortunately, we can't open the front with Golden Horde. We just can't. We don't want that under any circumstances right now. So what that ends up meaning is, without any capacity for naval invasion here, it's going to get spicy. I'm going to delete all orders associated with this army, and we're going to reorder them to naval invade. This time we're going to focus very specifically only on this location with a naval base. That's all we really want anyway. So we'll get that done. We'll get this removed, and then we'll get these guys also setting up for that. But this is going to be a long-term project, right? So that's not going to be something that happens in the short term here, for sure. And that's understood. So our navies are doing things in theory. And what things are they doing? Actually, we've only got 11% naval supremacy over here. That's kind of wild. But up here, we've got 99%. So most of their forces are here. What that tells me is that I want to move this army, or rather this fleet, down over here. I want to have some naval supremacy in both of these locations. And we'll just work on grinding that down. So our manpower is not great at this moment, 1.46 million. And the question is, what are we going to do about this quasi-stalemate that we find ourselves in? In most Paradox games, I would have sought an end to this war a while ago. But this is Hoi. That's not really an option. But in most Paradox games, I would have just looked to get some gains up over here and pieced out of this war and then gone back to conquest in Africa or over in Asia, or even just trying to do what we're doing here, but not in the context of being in an active war against Ukraine. That's not really a thing that we can do in Hoi, unfortunately. One thing we can definitely do is get a bunch of propaganda effects going on. No doubt about that. We can do that. So that's decent. And I would also like to get this naval situation under control here. 1376. Okay, so we just need these guys to make their way down, right? But they're currently working on this task force over here, and that seems reasonably fine for now. So at this moment, how are we doing on our steel? That's definitely an improvement. Okay. I'm looking for them doing convoy interdiction, and I really think it's happening right here. So that's absolutely something that we want to work on. There's no doubt about that. The next thing that we want to work on, of course, is taking down Z30. But this is going to be very difficult to dislodge them with a naval invasion, and that's not really a viable option. So then we've got pushing up over here and trying to get through this stalemate. That's a whole different kettle of fish. Because this is going to be very complicated. No doubt about it. What do they have for land fort here? 3 of 9? That's actually not all that high. They're consistently attacking us here, and this attack is going to be very bad for them. We're at 7 out of 7 land fort here. This is in Mountain Province, and we're dug in. This is going to be very difficult for them to do anything at all here. So I'm actually completely okay with them throwing lives away on this one. Hi, console. Let's check in on how we're doing up over here. So at this moment, 12.06 million to their 15.69 million in losses. Okay. I would very much like for Ukraine to get out of this. We can see that their war participation is 72%. And we can also see they have 521 to 848 divisions and 938 total factories. So they have about the same number of factories that we do. But their actual total number of casualties is less than ours. Ukrainian East Africa was a large amount of these casualties that we're seeing here, and that is absolutely noted. Okay. So we can continue these probing attacks if we like. It doesn't really matter all that much. The real question is, should we? And I'm kind of leaning towards saying no on this. We stop the attacks here. And we just dig in. We let them attack us. And they're going to take significantly more casualties than we are, like this. That's not a great short-term plan. We've got a long ways to go to get through this manpower. No doubt about that. So, what is the short-term plan? Well, we would love to be able to get through the Dardanelles and the Bosporus. I don't really see this happening anytime soon, so that's not a great long-term plan either. That means that this invasion into Crimea is not going to happen anytime soon. Which also means that mostly we're entering a bit of a phony war period. And that's not a bad thing. This war will still remain hot up over here. But the real question is, what happens if we just pull these tanks off of the front? We move in 14 more units here. Like this. So they would move in like so. And then these tanks would get pulled off the front. So we'd remove all of that, and we'd tell them, just pull back and area defend this area back here. Just spread out a little bit. It's going to take them time to pull out, because we're constantly being attacked. But that's fine. That will give us time to stock up tanks, and time to stock up, most importantly, mechanized infantry. Our manpower may be net positive taking these defensive fights as well. Their manpower is likely net negative doing this. One of our tank units got out of there. So that's something. We do, of course, have these infantry that are going to be on the way up. They're not... Okay, they're a ways away. They are on their way. But they will be here soon. So we're pulling the tanks back, and they're like, what are they doing? They're up to something. You're quite correct. We are up to something. And that something is chilling. We're just going to chill. That's all there is to do at this moment, is chill. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this invasion here in about 50 days, and they're just going to keep on attacking us out over here, and they can't push us out of this position, especially not once our reinforcements arrive. Which will be soon. They are starting to push through this area. So yeah, we're just completely dug in here. There's nothing that they can do. This guy, we would... Actually, adaptable is maybe okay. It's the only thing available, so we may as well take it. What does this guy have? A preferred tactic. Well, he is a tank commander, so we want him to go for, like, blitz. There we go. And now our reinforcements are arriving up at this front. So this is Army 5, and this is also Army 5. Why do we have two Army 5 orders here? That's wacky. Let's just make sure everyone is assigned to this singular Army 5 order. Perfect. So our reinforcements will continue to slowly make their way in here, and they're going to keep trying to attack this, and it's going to keep not working. This unit should be attached to these infantry at this moment, and there we go. It now is. And that seems good. We'll be able to work our way through our tank deficit and our mechanized infantry deficit. Once we're through our mechanized infantry deficit here, I intend on repurposing that steel, because that is going to be needed. We're definitely doing better on our overall steel quantities, but it's not where we want to be yet. That's for sure. Okay, so this is 2 additional infantry divisions. Those are going to go into our reserve for the moment. And yeah, they're just going to continue attacking this here, and this is not going to go well for them in the slightest. It's going to keep getting worse for them as well, as we keep piling these infantry in. So, as long as we don't get too many infantry there, of course. Okay, so we're just going to dig in there, and the question is, how much manpower is Ukraine actually burning on this? 12.11 compared to 15.71. I don't know offhand what that number was previously, but I'll try to remember 15.71, and we'll check in on that in a couple of minutes here. So for now, I'm going to bump it up to speed 5, and that is, of course, going to be very spicy. We'll bump it up to speed 5. The frame rate is not going to be fantastically happy about that, but this guy here, he's going to be ready in about 15 days. Now, again, I don't expect this mission to succeed very well. We'll see how it goes. And we're going to need to wait for one of our patrol fleets to patrol its way back up over here. That's understood. So we do have 2 armored divisions that finished up, surprisingly. So we'll get that assigned over here. That seems perfect. And at this moment, I want to check this now. 12.11, 15.72. That means that since we last checked, they took rounded 10,000 casualties. Okay. That's pretty hefty, considering that was only a couple of days. That's actually a lot of casualties. I'm just doing a little bit of mental math here to determine how long it's going to be approximately until they run out of manpower. Oh, we now know that exactly how much manpower they have, 7.29 million. So that's cool. That's definitely cool. Yeah, look at that. 15.73. They are definitely exhausting their manpower supply by doing that. We can launch this attack. The question is, do we want to? Of course we do. If it succeeds, that's fantastic. I don't expect it to succeed. Yeah. This is about what I expected to have happen. It's not going to go well. That's understood. Next time we do this, we may want to have this fleet be on naval invasion support here. And we can do it now, but I think it's maybe a little late. Okay. So we can launch this again, of course, and we would like these guys to be assigned right here, and then we'd like these guys to be assigned right here. No, I want them... It was underneath. That was awkward. Okay, we'll just assign it like this, and we'll assign it like this. We don't have Marines. I'm not going to get Marines either. I want to see how this is going to go with our larger force here on naval invasion support, but for now we'll move them back to patrol while we re-prepare that. Okay, how many losses did we take in that? Oh, not many at all. We're still at 12.11, and they're still at 15.73, so not very much actually happened in that engagement. Okay, good to know. So that's fine. They're not taking like mass casualties right now, obviously. But them bleeding themselves with this attack is absolutely fine by me. No doubt about that. We're down to 1.3 million manpower right now. Keep in mind, we can always mobilize up more the way they did. And we're in a much better position on that front. So 17.29 million, now 17.28 million. Okay. Their manpower is definitely declining, but it's not declining as quickly as I'd like. 15.74. So, I mean, they're certainly taking casualties. But this is not going to be a speedy process. I think we need to start thinking about alternate plans here and what else we can do. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we will start giving that some consideration. We should be just about through our mechanized deficit here. Yeah, as you can see, we're actually only short 200 mechanized equipment at this moment, so we're going to be able to swap that over to tank production very soon. Very soon. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, waiting a bit for this to get caught up, I'm still working on tuning this speed, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.